watched any of What If Season 3. I loved the first 2 seasons, but I have no idea what they were doing with this one. Very glad you asked the question because I have seen What If, but it dropped during the holidays and end of the year, and I just wasn't able to talk about it, so I'll talk about it on here, clip this out, and put it on the second channel. Some people have been asking me about this. I completely agree with you. I have been a defender of the first 2 seasons of What If, in particular season 1, and I feel like they completely lost the plot with season 3 of What If, where the appeal of this show is supposed to be taking familiar characters and stories and putting a twist on them and then seeing how that plays out. When the show did that, I really enjoyed it. And then I dug that they had kind of the meta arc where we introduced characters in 6 scenarios, and then the last 2 episodes we pulled them together for Guardians of the Multiverse. I dug that. But with this season, I feel like they completely lost it entirely. This felt like it devolved into Marvel Mad Libs with like B, C, and D level characters. And some of them were just crazy to me, where we're not even taking the characters that have been prominent in phases 4 and 5 and spinning them off. Some of them were this, but they did an episode where we took the plucky side character from Thor 1 and 2 and the duck that made a cameo in Guardians of the Galaxy and the portal scene, and we went, what if Darcy blank word a duck? What if Howard the Duck got a girlfriend and they had a kid? And so you're taking 2 characters that are not established, that are not leads, and then having a person have a kid with a duck. Maybe that's not a great idea. Maybe that's not a great foundation for a story. Like, that's weird. Like, really weird that you're like, bestiality. What? What are you doing? But you're taking 2 characters not related, tossing them together, and doing this whole like just mash together characters, throw it all in there about their kid. And you go, what are we doing here? Why are we doing this? And then you come back and we get into the last 2 episodes and we do multiverse, Guardians of the Multiverse again, and their daughter, who's not a real comic book character, it's just like the spinoff from this episode, is in it. And you go, what are you doing? What do you think why do you think anyone would want that? This is just like, that the premise of the show is completely lost if you're just making up a new character. And there's also that like girl from season 2 that's another made up character that's just like, what if we created a new character? You know what where you can also just create a new character in the main stories. Just if you want to do that, that's not what this playground is for. What are you doing? And then, like they did Agatha in Kumail Nanjiani's character from Eternals. What if they made a movie together? And why? Like, a lot of people had fun with the episode. If you like Agatha, there's a lot of fun to be had there. I'm not a big Agatha fan, and I'm not a big Eternals fan, so they're kind of charming, but I'm like, of all the stories you could tell, of all the what-if scenarios, those 2 characters making a movie, I don't care. And having her be able to defeat a Celestial is also like, what are we doing here? And that's the thing, the opportunity cost. Because you did these stories that are about characters that are not established, the whole appeal is you take something established and flip it on its head. These are not established enough characters. Some of that, I believe, is because Thunderbolts, Ironheart were delayed. Captain America 4. You delayed all of these projects. Therefore, What If is coming out before we got Ironheart. So we haven't seen the established version of Ironheart. We saw a small part of her, but not established her. And we didn't do Thunderbolts to see some of these characters, how they're playing out. And we're already doing What If versions of them. The first time we see Shang-Chi in years is he's in a mech suit and he's a cowboy. We didn't do Shang-Chi 2, but we did Cowboy Shang-Chi. Like, that to me is frustrating. and where they really just kind of lost me in the way they decided to play the whole thing out. So I think it lost the plot. The whole novelty's missing in virtually all of these episodes. If I were to do a quick ranking of the episodes, in last place, Howard the Duck got hitched. Darcy blanks a duck. I just think, what on earth are we doing? Of all the things that we can do an episode about, you put Storm in the show with Mjolnir. You know that's interesting. You didn't do a story about that. You didn't origin story that, but you did the birth of Quacky or whatever, Swifty or whatever, the duck kid. What? And then what if the emergence destroyed the Earth? Once again, I appreciated that it was a serious episode, but you have to at least have something grounded in reality. And if the emergence happened and the Earth blew up, everyone dies. You don't have like society on fragments of the Earth floating. Like, I understand we're talking about celestials and there's things that break science, but you have to have something that is real. If all of a sudden the Earth blowing up doesn't kill everyone and gravity still works, what are we doing? You have to have some logic, and then making it based off Ironheart when Ironheart isn't established, it just didn't work for me. What if Agatha went to Hollywood? As I said before, I'm just not interested in that. What if? I wish that they built it up to it. Like, I like the team ups at the end, but instead of having Cowboy Shang-Chi with Cowboy Kate Bishop showing up in it, where Storm shows up out of nowhere. And so it didn't feel like they built up to this finale, so it just felt like, who cares? What if the Watcher disappeared? Kind of the same exact idea. That it was almost offensive what the team up was. Like, I don't like to do just full gender stuff like that, but the whole Guardians of the Multiverse it was an entirely girl team. So you left out all of these male versions that you did, and you put in Howard the Duck and Darcy's kid. What are you doing? Like, what is going on here? You're giving all the ammo to the MCU crowd that got weird agendas, and you're prioritizing your agenda over storytelling. If you choose to put in the Duck Baby, not any of these other variants of characters. What are you doing? Just like the strangest makeup you could have of the team that's the least interesting and the least meaningful, and you didn't earn it. What if the Hulk fought the mech Avengers in number 3? I half liked this one. I like the idea of this doing the mech stuff, but you didn't earn it. And as soon as you're doing mech stuff and not explaining really, like, the appeal of the Avengers is that they have superpowers. And then you went, who cares they have superpowers? They're just doing Power Rangers. They're just doing Voltron. And so there's a disconnect there that was like, I needed to understand how some of the stuff worked together a little bit better. What if 1872? That's kind of fun. I dig Westerns, so I dug it. And then what if Red Guardian stopped the Winter Soldier? This is classic what if. That you're combining a character that we saw established in Black Widow, and you're putting him in a storyline that we learned about in Civil War with a character that's been established across many different things. That's what's interesting to me. That's like, right, I know who these characters are, and you're changing an event with these characters, and voila! That's what I want this show to be. Sorry. Gave a long answer on that one because that's a question I literally had notes prepped up for someone asked me it. So thank you, Mr. Jenkins, for giving me an opportunity to talk about that.